So I'm just trying to share that this word stranger and sojourner context is going to be very important. So what's happening now is that you even have Israelites as being strangers and sojourners. And so what happened now is that, let's say hypothetically, I was from the tribe of Judah, you're from the tribe of, let's say, Manasseh and Gad. If you're coming to live amongst me, now the word sojourner, it's just like I'm coming to live with you for a while. I'm not the actual sole possessor or inhabitant of your land, so I'm like a stranger. I'm sojourning amongst you.
Right.
And let's say now I fall out and I need some money, I fall behind on my rent. I say, well, listen, you know what? I need to work for you.
Right.
Okay, so you said, okay, I'll hire you. I need $10,000. Okay, listen, the solid body, you can work for me for the next 5 years.
Right.
Now, I can only be a hired servant. I can never be a bond servant.
Right, exactly.
Because we can only be bond servants to the Father. So you now have to pay me. And you must also remember now is that you can't treat me as a bond servant, because remember now we was in Israel. Okay, and we were also bond servants. So there's a certain way that you're expected now, I'm expecting you now to treat me, versus now, because I'm sure we're going to do the class, there's a difference also between a bond servant and a hired servant.
Right.
To say this now, I had this conversation some years ago, maybe about 1998, 99. The reason why a lot of books are not here is because a lot of the books talk a little bit more in depth about excluding. Okay, I'm just careful, real careful, because I remember also, take for example, when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, because all these are correct, they're 100% correct, 100%. But you go to 1st Ezra, the 5th chapter, I'm going to read verse 20. Watch how this.
Yeah, you just.
First, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, it's the second. It's the second, because the King James, it flips back and forth, but it is definitely the second. 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, verse 20. And we just freestyle. These are just some of the questions that I've encountered over the years. And so we have Ezra, he's fasting for 7 days. And after 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of his heart were, verse 20, I'm sorry, verse 20, the 5th chapter, verse 20. I'm going to read down just a couple of verses here. And so I fasted 7 days, which was Ezra's, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel the messenger commanded me. And after 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me again. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again. And it said, O Sovereign, thou bearest rule over every wood of the earth. These are all scriptures that we know. And all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one vine. And all the lands of thy whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And all the flowers thereof, one lily. And all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. And all the built cities that hast set apart Zion unto thyself. And all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. And all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And to this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. And so he begins to talk about, now, O Sovereign, why hast thou given this one people over to many? And upon the one group hast thou prepared others, and why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? This is my question. When we see these different strangers here, and keeping everything in context, what are we now to make out of how this is all going to work in what we call the new kingdom? Meaning this is that when we're reading the Leviticus, the Exodus, and those scriptures there, those instructions was given to Israel on how to conduct themselves with these strangers before they got into the land. So how does does that really affect us today, meaning now that Israel's at the bottom of the totem pole? So, because I notice a lot of times what happens is that when things are not put into its proper context and looking at the nature of how the thing's supposed to actually work, we start to now love strangers and we kind of like lose our place, because we now find ourselves in a situation where we're still looking for outsiders now to actually build this up or try to get their approval. Because I remember what happened now is that I found interesting is that every time that the Father was speaking to Israel in the wilderness, he said, speaking to the children of Israel, speaking to the children of Israel. But we noticed something that happened kind of strange, is that even when Moses was speaking to Pharaoh, he said, tell the children of Israel, and then we have a situation where the mixed multitude came out. I just find it real interesting now is that the conversation was like kind of direct. And just like Father said, listen, you know what, I want to talk to the Strong's family. My last name is Livingston. Under no circumstances should I be at that meeting. I mean, Karash, she does her business meetings. If they're calling out for the managers or the supervisors, the employees are not supposed to be there. And so I'm just finding out how the Masoretic text is kind of doing things a little bit now. And just one more thing, bro, like real quick, is that I find interesting that we see this mixed multitude coming out of Israel. And it seems like that's when problems began, because what's happening now is that if Israel isn't set apart, and you have a mixed people amongst them, you're going to have problems. Because what's happening now is that somebody's going to have to be submissive to somebody. And what's happening now is that this mixed multitude was never submissive to Israel, and it caused problems. It just seems like at some point, you need to really pull up people away from everybody and let me deal with you. After you are fully nourished and understand exactly what the plan is, now you can go out now and intermingle with all these other people. But at first, what you need to do now, and the Masoretic text, again, they're adding a whole lot of stuff to this. How do we now deal with some of those things here? Because everything is always like, let's include.
Remember, he dealt on behalf of Israel and with them even in Mizraim before they came out. He was doing that for Israel. When they came out at Sinai and into the wilderness, was it the nations or the strangers that went and did what they did, or was it Israel and the unbelief that they had in their heart that they did what they did to break the covenant no sooner than they came out?
Yeah, Israel, we definitely had a lot of problems.
We can point to the strangers by a lot of things, but even at this time when he brings us out, Yahuah said he's not trying the stranger's heart, he's trying Israel's heart. It was never about the heart of the stranger. Israel brought down their own downfall, whether they was amongst the strangers or not. And see, this is what happened when we start reading. You notice, even with everything that happened to Israel, y'all notice we want to punish the nations. But was it the nation's fault that Israel ended up in the position they're in, or was it Israel's fault? Matter of fact, he said, you taught the nation wickedness. Because we were set apart people from the day he chose us. But we never loved him. So he turned us over into the hands of that thing that we love. And now, he said that those that were one computer accounted of nothing, they now what? Rule over us. Right. And so I think a lot of times we miss the point. But this is everything that's supposed to happen. This is to help us to line back up. When you see these other nations, when you see that now all of a sudden, it's even today, there's many things that you don't appreciate. Somebody else outside of your family, they see value in it. And they'll flock to it and love it and prosper with it. But with Israel, there's one thing that should have been everything to them. They told them to kiss my black behind. This is Israel. You read a scripture a few weeks ago where Israel told him, I ain't going to do that. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
We ain't going to stop serving these idols. Was that the nation or was that Israel talking? The nation is the belt he used to beat our ass with. That's the problem. That's what the nations are. That's what the strangers are. And he's trying to show you. He said, I call the people out of the rocks. He said, you ain't got to serve me. He said, I call the rocks a cry to me. That going to show you how fed up he was with Israel. And with Israel, Israel doesn't have to look to the nations to validate them or look for any help from the nations. Because it was Israel from day one. It was always Israel. They loved everything but Yahuah the Elohim.
That's true. Now, when we talk about the two different types of strangers, there's going to be strangers that's going to sojourn amongst Israel, and there's going to be strangers that's living on the outside.
Right.
Now, so, this hypothetically now, so the strangers that are living on the outside, Israel is living in this set-apart community. They're righteous. Everything is good. So will we be able to now hire those strangers that are living out in the world who are lesbians, prostitutes, gangbangers, whatever it is, we'll be able to hire them to come into the city to build a wall?
But I see what you're saying, but then we fix to be grasping. When they enforce somebody preference and gender, I mean all that stuff. So what now?
Can you say something like those who were like that had no place?
I thought they all got killed.
No, I'm not gonna say they all got killed. I don't think people were coming in to do jobs according to that because anybody outside of the city. Yeah, there be servants that can be come in and work and leave. They can't reside in the city. A skill and a craft and a job need to be done. I don't think that will permit you from coming to do a job that you're hired to do.
Well, I think what Coach was asking, she because in the Revelation when New Jerusalem was revealed, it said that all the idolaters and whoremongers and everyone who's not obeying the covenant, they're going to have a place in like a fire.
Right, but we're talking about two different time periods now. Or we're talking about, first of all, let's look at these time periods. Now, how long do we think we're going to be in the wilderness?
2.5 years.
2, 3 years. 2.5, 3.5 years. Then all of a sudden we go where? What happens after that?
Go to the land.
We going to the land?
No,
Help us out, Maureen.
There's going to be a purging. I mean,
Yes,
there's
yeah.
going to be a purging during this 3.5 years. And as it was at the beginning, it's going to be the same way in the end. Not everybody's going to be able to make it into this righteous set-apart kingdom. So,
Right, what I'm saying, when does this kingdom come? Does the set-apart kingdom, does it come after this 3.5 years?
No.
Okay, so after the 3.5 years, what happens?
the scripture still talks about the 1,000 year millennium reign.
The 1,000 year millennial reign. What's going to be happening during that time? So this is what I'm getting at. You get time periods. We want to go from the wilderness all of a sudden to New Jerusalem. And it doesn't work like that. You know, somebody has to rebuild. But what are they rebuilding? Where are you going to reside once you come out of the wilderness? What's going to be the job of the servants, those the sojourners that are, they're going to be rebuilding.
Yeah, that needs to work.
There's nothing for them to rebuild when the New Jerusalem comes. So that's what I'm trying to get everybody to focus on the time periods. And this is what I'm saying, y'all jumping in two different time periods. So guess what? You're going to have skills, architects, you're going to have engineers, you're going to have all of this stuff. They won't dwell amongst you, but they'll be coming from the outside to help build their skill set. It's going to be used.
Right.
They're hired to do a job and they leave. But guess what happens annually though? Everybody has to come where? Up to where? Jerusalem.
I mean, even there was a script where it was even talking about like the gathering of the weapons and burnings and stuff like that.
Right.
They're gonna turn them into plowshares and all
Right,
that.
so that would be in the 1,000 millennium reign also.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But I thought before the 1,000 millennial reign, he's going to get rid of all of those people who are
No.
living a bad life.
See, that's the thing. When we begin to look at how this thing is going to be structured, there's going to be, I was always looking at, there would be like aliens or foreigners. They wouldn't be wicked people, it's just that there's still other places to live. And what would happen now is that those that are sojourning amongst us, is, you know, they would be doing, labors and things of that sort. But there's nothing wrong with, you know, that part of the earth, whatever, because Israel is the Father's inheritance. Out of all the tribes, all of the people of the planet Earth, he chose one people, and that's his inheritance, and every nation was given their land.
But I tell you this way, he said he's gonna rule over them with a what?
A rod of
A
iron.
rod of iron.
Right.
Do you rule over an obedient people with a rod of iron?
No.
Think about what y'all saying.
See, I mean, you gotta listen real close now. Ruling with, we're talking about with strength and authority. I mean, because these things have to be implemented.
They have to be implemented.
And so, yeah, so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with ruling with a rod of iron, even during the time.
I see what you're saying.
You know,
But
so,
think about it even in Jerusalem.
Mhm.
When you made it out of the wilderness, let's say you enter the land, you prosper. You ruling a people, or you over people that who willingly submit and subject to Torah,
Right.
versus a people who now, he said, if you don't, I'm going to do what? I'm going to cut off stop the rain in your
Right.
land.
Exactly.
It's a reason why he's making reference to this.
Right.
Because this is the condition of the hearts of these people, these strangers versus these strangers in the land.
Mhm.
That's why every time we go back and read them, the thing you see, strange, heathen, profane, idolatrous, adulterous. If these people are going to be obedient, he wouldn't even have to put that, or that, I'm saying he put it, it wouldn't even have to be, that reference would not have to be made or attached to that. It's letting you know what kind of people this is. That's why every time we read it, 1616, it was always compared to what? Those native or born in the land.
Right.
Their position was always favorable in comparison to Israel.
Mhm.
Not never ever with all those other strangers. We still missing about 4 from the board. Their position is never that. But you ever notice when you read 1616, you never see the word idolatrous, profane, heathen or heathendom, and none of that with it. That's a person that willingly submit and subject themselves to you.
Now, again, I think where I'm getting confused at,
Really? No.
this is 1616, this particular stranger, is this in the kingdom or is this in the millennial reign?
Well, you know it's in the millennium. If it's in the kingdom, you know it had to have been in the millennium. Because that's what they would have been in the kingdom. They wouldn't even make it that far. So it has to be in the millennium.
No.
Because what's not in place when the kingdom comes? It's a wrap. Because what happens when the kingdom comes?
Oh, kingdom.
Does he not come with a fervent fire as well?
Right. So what I'm saying is that all of these other things that are outside Torah, let's say the strangers that are living on the outside, when you were saying they're going to be coming in, doing work or whatever, that's not in the kingdom. That's just in the millennial.
In the millennium,
reign.
yeah.
Right.
There's nothing to be
they're
worked
not-
on in the
None
kingdom.
of those people are going to be around in the kingdom.
they haven't submitted or subjected by then, they will.
Right.
I mean, they won't.
They won't. Okay. See, that's what kept throwing me off, because I'm thinking.
Because remember, who's the kingdom for?
It's for the Israelites.
It's for Israel. So if even those other, if they submit or subjected by then and they're falling or obedient, they're not destroyed. They're not living well within the kingdom. Mm-hmm. But think about this. Think about kingdoms in general. What kingdom do we know where, okay, you just think about the Roman kingdom. Who did Rome favor? Romans. Was the position of the other nation the same as the Romans? What kingdom do you know where it esteems the other people over the people of that kingdom itself?
Black folk. Israelites.
Well, but y'all see what I'm getting at.
I'm trying to hold it.
You know, I'm real though.
So what I'm saying is, so with that, you will always have the portion, or Mashiyach said it best. He said, I'm not going to take the bread which belongs to the children and give it to the dogs.
Right.
But did he push that woman away though? Or did he have mercy on her? That's the same thing. It's no different. We see that when we read about Joshua and Caleb all the time. What happens? If you want to prosper, you attach yourself to the people. You have to follow the people. Did Caleb receive an inheritance in the land? Well, was his people given a land? Just like when we went into Egypt. That's why he said we were strangers in that land. But did not we prosper? We were given what? We lived very good down in Goshen. Even we don't even talk about Assyria. We talk about Assyrian captivity. We don't even talk about how prosperous we became in Assyria. We got so prosperous when we were released, didn't even want to leave. What did the king say? You get up out of here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you some wealth and give you some material to go get out of here with. As a matter of fact, we forget it even when he spoke the words, he talks about the Egyptians. When he said the Egyptians shall be his people. He talked about the Assyrians. Who are these Egyptians and Assyrians he talked about? He said that would be his people. That's why we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't care how much we want to. It's going to be some people outside of Israel that live and prosper amongst Israel. Will they be Israel? No. Will they be equal to Israel? No. But they're going to be there. And to be quite honest, me myself, Yahuah, I don't know which strange is which. Only I can see is the heart of a person. If I see somebody outside of Israel and they're following Torah, they're not causing disturbances or sowing seeds of discord, and they're walking according to, my mindset is, okay then, let that brother and sister dwell here peacefully. Because guess what? I can have one of you, the seed of Israel, that just, y'all know how we get. Y'all know we can act when we want to. So which one you rather have? A disruptive, blood-born Israelite or a Torah-abiding a stranger? You wake up every morning, your Israelite brother cussing and clowning, acting a fool, sowing all kinds of seeds of discord, breaking in your house when you leave, at your wife when you're not around. But you got a stranger, respects your family, respects your property, respects the Torah, and he's living next door to you. Which one you wants to dwell amongst you? Because y'all know right now we don't like to be too much around our people. You let it be a certain kind, acting a certain way. Y'all know what's the first thing you do? You distance yourself away, don't you? And most time when you distance yourself away, who's your next door neighbor?
White man.
Exactly. And let me ask you a question. How many issues and problems do you have out of them? None. But see, until somebody brings it back home to you, all this stuff seems like it's just out there and don't make sense.
We had some folks bring us some cookies when we came into the neighborhood.
How many Israelites ever stepped on your door and brought cookies?
No.
Wow.
Brought you grief. That's a prime example back there. They live amongst the nations. I don't care how much they tell them people, we Israel, y'all gonna be all served. Do they stop coming to y'all house? They don't stop bringing food. They don't stop coming to check on them. Y'all know we can't coexist together, not Israel. That's strange. Any more questions? Anything else you want to bring up, Martin?
No.
Because I'm finna turn it to your hands.
No, I'm good. I mean, everything is good.
You got anything on Zuckerman?
Everything's good.
Okay. Okay, at this time we're going to turn it in the hands of our senior warrior, Kasaba. Let's give him a hand.
Very good, very good. All right. Okay, Mr. Kai, pray that everybody got a good understanding of today's lesson. Very interesting. Going over so far, there's 5 different strangers: Ger, Nakar, Zor, Nukarai, and Bane. And pray that everybody is good. And we'll continue on part 3, I guess, next week. So with that, we'll have Zakane to blow the shofar 7 times. We'll have Zabul to do the honors.